Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Uganda Revenue Authority reminds all taxpayers to file their monthly returns and make all outstanding payments by the 15th of every month. Please comply to avoid penalties and interest associated with failure to file returns and payment of these taxes. For further clarifications, call us on our toll-free line 0800-117-000 or email us on services@ura.go.ug. Please ignore this message if you have already complied.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Kapo, you seem to be in a hurry. Where are you going to?
I'm gonna pay URA visit.
Why would anyone visit URA? Of all places?
To know more about the Kakasa business solutions, namely digital tracking solution, the voluntary disclosure program and electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing solution, which have turned my business around. You know I need to be on top of my game to protect my empire. If you know, you know.
I too need to know what Kapo knows.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business. Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Wait, Abu, tunamaliliza. And what are you doing throwing papers all over the place?
I'm looking for an invoice for a sound system and cables that I received yesterday, but I can't find it.
You know there is a way of keeping all this in one place and available to you as and when you need it.
I really wish there was one, because the way these invoices grow legs and disappear.
I believe this is what you're looking for.
Now how did it get there?
Tabo! Do you know that with EFRIS, you can stay on track of all your business transactions and improve on your record keeping?
How so?
Kati tuli ku computer with EFRIS. I just search using the fiscal document number and I retrieve the records I'm looking for. Bookkeeping becomes simple after that.
Kapo, awesome, yeah.
I began using URA's Kakasa solutions and now I'm in charge of my business. And you can as well.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
In chess, the small one can become the big one. It's the same here. And here too. Watch every move. Record every number so you can plan better. No matter the size of your dream, tomorrow's success belongs to those who keep today's records clean. File your returns today.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together. Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Uganda Revenue Authority reminds all taxpayers to file their monthly returns and make all outstanding payments by the 15th of every month. Please comply to avoid penalties and interest associated with failure to file returns and payment of these taxes. For further clarifications, call us on our toll-free line 0800 117 000 or email us on services@ura.go.ug. Please ignore this message if you have already complied.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Couple, you seem to be in a hurry. Where are you going to?
I'm gonna pay URA visit
Why would anyone visit URA? Of all places?
to know more about the Kakasa Business Solutions, namely digital tracking solution, the voluntary disclosure program and electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing solution, which have turned my business around. You know I need to be on top of my game.
My name is Elizabeth Nakiru. Today I'm the moderator for Tax Mchuzi, and I'm glad to have you all here. I do have a guest, Patrick Baguma. He will introduce himself. But for today's topic, we are looking at the different tips on how to be tax compliant, what are the benefits there, what is the first step to being tax compliant. You're welcome, Patrick Baguma.
Thank you, my colleague Elizabeth. The other name is a bit hard, eh? What is the best?
That's fine. Nakiru.
Nakilu.
Yes.
Yes, Patrick Bagum is my name, as she has said. That is, I can say, I'm glad to be here. And do hope that our viewers have a lot for us. We are not experts, but we are here to share what you already know. We just try to remind ourselves of obligations as taxpayers. And as I said, we are going to share a lot about who is supposed to be a compliant taxpayer. As people say, how do I become compliant? You want to be compliant, but what is supposed to do? But we are here to share. We have a lot for you in the house. Thank you.
Yes, you just said you have a lot to share, but people do not know your designation.
I'm a supervisor, tax education unit. Currently, we are sitting at a boulevard. We decided to bring services closer to the people because we believe that most of our taxpayers are downtown. That's where we get most of our money. So we're already there to serve you, and we are just coming here as an addition to those people who may not be able to come physically and meet us, our different offices, and there's only places where we are.
Thank you, Patrick. So let's dive into our topic, because I'm sure taxpayers would like to know what is it about being tax compliant, what is in it for them. So I just want to know, what is the first step of being a tax compliant taxpayer?
Maybe before we go to the first step,
Yes.
or the steps of being a compliant. When it says you want to be compliant, what does it mean?
Yeah.
In a brief, I say that here you are compliant, you are in a good books with the taxman. You are complying with the relevant tax laws and regulations. And here we are going to talk about that 4 major pillars of compliance. And these pillars are going to, we just explain in detail all, but basically there are 4. 1, registration.
Yes.
Because before you come on the register, before you start paying your taxes, you have to register. For the taxes that you are required to register for. We talk about from registration, then after having registered properly and fully, we expect you to start filing. Or for the technical people, call it furnishing of your tax returns.
Patrick, hold your thought there. You said you expect the taxpayer to first register before they become tax compliant. So someone may be wondering, after what is required for them to register, and then after registration, what is the way forward? Do you just go straight into filing? What is it about registration?
A point about registration.
What are you registering for?
Now, there is this common word that when you apply for registration, it already gives you a TIN number. Most of us call it a TIN number, but really it is a TIN. And this TIN, when you register, you can't register when you don't have business.
Yes.
So what does it mean? That you have got business outside there, you have formalized it, and we don't talk about formalization, it means you have registered it with URSB. That is Uganda Registration Service Bureau. So after registering it, you come to your SA, I've got business ABCD. I want to start paying taxes. I want to start complying with the tax laws. So TIN, it is called the tax identification number.
Yes.
This TIN is a unique identifier. Or identification number, and we can relate it to a personal account someone has with URA. The way you find we have got accounts with different banks.
Yes.
And it enables you to pay your taxes as and when they are due. And remember, it's not supposed to be shared. Yes, of course, it is a person's account with the URA. Yes. The way you don't share your account with someone and the password, the same thing is supposed to be used by one person.
Yes, you also mentioned something to do with filing and paying tax returns. So at what stage in someone's business do they start filing and paying for these taxes?
Apparently, maybe if I just talk in detail about filing, talked about the stages of compliance.
Yes.
So there are basically major four. One, registration. I don't talk about registration before we go to filing.
Okay.
Here we want the applicant or the taxpayer to be to register by giving proper details. Because registration is about proper giving correct and up-to-date information about what you are going to do, which means that you expect the correct telephone number, or expect the correct email address, the type of business you are going to do, the location, in case it is a company, the directors,
Yes.
and where necessary, currently we've recently brought on board what they call IFRIS.
Yes.
If you're on a taxpayer who is on a VAT register, we expect to register for electronic fiscal receipt, an invoicing solution.
Okay.
If you're also a manufacturer and you're dealing in accessible goods, we expect you to start using digital tax systems.
Yeah.
So talk about registration. Basically, you have to be up to date and correct.
Okay.
She talked about the second step being filing.
Yes.
Now, filing, idea when you said about registration, talking about you are required to register for all the eligible tax types.
Okay.
And these tax types, if you're an employer, we expect you to be having employees. So you expect you to register for pay as you earn.
Okay.
Here we're going to talk about when are you supposed to file? What's the due date? When you are dealing in vertible products, here it means that maybe your turnover, taxable sales, supplies, are above 150 million shillings. You expect to register for VAT.
The turnover, let me interrupt you there. Does the turnover of 150 million include the profits or just the sales of a business person?
That's a good one. No, ideally this is just the total sales, excluding tax. And these sales are for those items which attract VAT, to make it simple to our viewers and listeners out there.
Okay.
Or if I talk about annual, there's also that category of people. Or if in the next 3 months you expect your sales to exceed 37.5 million, you also expect to register for VAT. Now, when you go to filing, assuming that you have filed, you have registered properly for your tax types, information is correct.
Yeah.
Now the second step comes filing.
Yes.
What is filing? It's not about filing only, it's about on-time filing.
Okay.
Now, there are different due dates for filing these returns.
Yes.
Maybe our viewers may be asking, what is a tax return? I would expect that question somewhere. It may be coming, maybe. Ideally, a tax return is a declaration of one of the transactions for a given period of time. And you're talking about a period of 12 months.
Okay.
That is for the income tax returns. But for the monthly returns, these are basically about things that have transpired within a period of what? 30 days or less. Now, if we begin like now today is the 15th.
Yes.
So we expect all those employers, all those people who are in the self-proprietorship business, who are registered for pay as you earn, who are registered for VAT, who are registered for withholding tax.
Yes.
Today is the last date of filing.
Yes, if I may again interact a bit. Usually people say that they know that 15th is the due date for filing returns, but someone will ask you after filing returns, is 15th also the same date I have to pay? Sometimes taxpayers confuse the date. Is it the same date I file and pay, or I file on 15th, but by 15th and then I wait and have another day to pay?
Now, as you can see, most of us are taxpayers.
Yes.
And we are always eager to fulfill obligation of filing.
Yes.
But the issue of payment, most of us, we don't take keen interest in it. And remember, at the end of the day, it also has its own costs and implications.
Yes.
Now, to make it simple to our viewers, the due date of filing for any return is the due date of payment.
Okay.
That is to make it simple.
Okay.
Now, for pay as you earn, they give you 15 days from the end of the month
Okay.
to make your declarations proper and accurate.
Okay.
The same applies to VAT, the same applies to withholding tax. But for income tax, the law or the government allows you to file your returns not later than 6 months from the end of the tax period or the end of the year. That's briefly. Now, the third requirement for you to be compliant, you talked about registration,
Yes.
filing,
Yes.
is about payment. And not only payment, but on-time payment. And I just said that the due date of filing is the due date for payment.
Okay.
Now, most of us, because of the digital economy, we are using checks.
Yes.
And when we use a check, like today being the last date for filing and payment, I may just go and bank a check. And this check may be going to another bank. So what does it mean? It may take 3 to 4 days before it clears. Now, for you remember, you know you have complete obligation of payment.
Yes.
But now remember, at the end of the day, your bank may be taking that check to another bank.
Yes.
So mean at the end of the day, it is going to attract unnecessary interest. So we normally request and advise our taxpayers, if you know you're going to use a check, at least bank it maybe between the 1st and the 10th of the following month, for you to be safe, to avoid the unnecessary cost of paying interest.
So, Patrick, like you said, we are telling our taxpayers to avoid late filing and payment.
Yes.
Yes. So, what if a taxpayer is not in position to meet that deadline? How do they go about applying for an extension to be able to file the correct returns? Maybe they need time to put their books in order, or they had an issue and they just don't have the time to meet the deadline.
Apparently, because we understand that being in the field there, there are some conditions that may force you not to comply. Not intentionally, but because of the prevailing circumstances. Maybe you may not be having proper access to your records.
Yes.
The person that will be filing for you maybe is sick or is away for one reason or the other beyond your control. So the law takes into account such. And as such, if you're not able to file on time, there's a provision for you within the law to apply for an extension to file a return. But note 2 things. One, for you to apply for an extension to file that return, you must apply before the due date.
Okay.
That's what you have to take note of. Then 2, that extension of filing return will not change the due date of payment. So if you are supposed to pay by 15, that tax liability will remain to be paid by 15.
Okay.
So which means that it will attract interest if you don't pay by the 15. So in brief, you can apply for extension to file the return, but for the payment, you can pay by the due date. It's allowed. And it may be 3 to note that extension should not exceed 90 days.
Okay.
The maximum period they can allow you to extend to file that return is between 1 to 90 days.
Okay, so you had mentioned something to do with declaring and paying the correct amount of tax.
Perfect.
So if a taxpayer is looking through their records and putting them together, of course on their side they will declare what they think is the correct return and also pay.
True.
So what happens in the case of a taxpayer getting, say, an assessment of more tax than what he thought he has to pay?
Now, of recent, there are very many channels of accessing information about our taxpayers. And that's why, from our discussion, we are trying to make sure that if you are registering with URA, register correctly and accurately. In the case of any changes, keep updating the taxman. We are here to help each other. Our office is always open to guide each other. Now, filing, we expect you to file as per your transactions.
Yes.
And remember now, because of the digital economy, you may think no one is watching you, but trust me, someone is watching you.
Okay.
So don't wait to be reported by someone that you're not to comply the tax laws. Now, the good side, we talk about filing. Now, the key one, which is the fourth, all of them are key, but the fourth, we talked about accurate and the correct declarations.
Yes.
Now, it happens that sometimes what you file is different from what transpired in your business. For example, assuming you are Elizabeth, when you are yesterday for VAT, Patrick, I'm also yesterday for VAT.
Yes.
I purchase goods from you.
Okay.
I'm going to claim input. I'm assuming I got the correct invoices from you. Now, if I put in my returns, the taxman is going to come and look in Patrick's returns. That, hey, Patrick bought from Elizabeth, the goods worth maybe 1 billion. So expect Elizabeth to declare and account for tax coming from that purchase. Now, if you don't do it, the taxman is going to come and issue an assessment related to the missing sales which you don't declare in your returns.
Let's say there's a scenario of the taxpayer not being able, let's say they have poor financial records, or they just maybe forget to keep some of these records. How do you treat them?
Now, I'll keep going back to the key information. Currently, our findings are that most of us, we use the tax agents to register.
Yes. Yes.
Now, when you use a tax agent or any other person who requires an associate helping you, they use information. They use their personal information. That is the email and the phone contact.
Okay.
Now, because for you, you trusted the agent to go and register for your team, they assume for you. Like now, for example, I may be an employee of URA, but a tax agent, just because he wants to simplify his work, he only goes and registers for me for property income. You find after a period of 12 months, you find URA is say, Patrick, you have got a property ABCD, going to declare rent.
Yes, you don't have the property.
I don't have a property.
Okay.
So to be brief, in case you get an assessment from URA and you are not sure where it is coming from,
yes,
we advise you and request you to go to the nearest URA office to go and inquire, because as I said, our office is always open. We have got a WhatsApp number,
yes,
we have got a toll-free number, we are available on Twitter, we are going to share that information.
okay,
We are there to guide you on how can you be compliant, because most often you find either it's wrong information in your profile,
okay,
or if you're in business,
yes,
maybe it is an omission on your side. Something skipped your mind.
yes.
So when you engage you, you didn't
sale.
record it yourself.
Yes.
So when you engage you during a conversation, actually may remember like, hey, it's true. This information, I made a sale to ABCD. However, by the time he came, maybe my computer was off,
yes,
or my book was misplaced.
okay,
And now this brings me to the other issue of voluntary disclosure.
okay. I actually had a question about that. If someone, we've said that tax compliance is about filing returns on time, being able to pay the tax, having a TIN, having your information accurate and everything. So how does voluntary disclosure help a taxpayer who is in business and they are looking to be tax compliant?
Now, voluntary disclosure. Now I'm talking on the side of URA.
Yes.
Findings show that most of us, because I'm also a taxpayer,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
the information I've been giving the taxman is not correct and accurate. Some of them it is intentional, other people it is not what? Intentional.
Yes.
So now URA has bought a platform called voluntary disclosure. So voluntary disclosure, to be brief, this is where a taxpayer, me and you, all those people are listening to us. If you know you are in a business, And the information have been declared to URA
Yes.
is not proper. There are some misstatements, intentional misstatements. There are some omissions,
Yes.
which led you to pay less tax. We request you to come and tell us that, look, for this period, I've been in business. However, I omitted something. There was a misstatement here, and it made me pay 1 million instead of paying 10 million.
Okay.
The wind is open.
Okay.
But however, who qualifies for this voluntary disclosure?
Yes.
Not everyone qualifies. That's exceptions.
Okay.
But if I go to exceptions, that person or taxpayer who is going to come voluntarily to disclose information about his or tax liabilities arising from statements or omissions should come when he or she has not been prompted by any action by URA
Okay.
or threat by URA. What does it mean? You find sometimes some of these people may want to come when your officer has written to you that, look, for the period ABCD, we have discovered information contrary to what I've been declaring.
Okay.
So we are going to do an audit. So mean that if URA has written to you that there is a pending audit,
Yes.
for a certain period of time, for you not to qualify to a different disclosure.
Okay.
If URA has written to you any compliance advisor that, look, in your returns, you see you have been dealing with Mokwano or HIMA or Trustment, and at some transaction which you see in your declarations, which you don't declare in your returns, you don't qualify.
Okay.
So anything, if I've got any notice in a brief from URA regarding your compliance for a certain period of time, you don't qualify for that wanted disclosure. How to do it? There is a form which is on the portal, which you fill, and that form has got, you have to talk about what is your TIN, what is your nature of business,
Yes.
the address,
Yes.
and you have to also explain in brief what are those misstatements, because they should be clear.
Okay.
So now, however, also the other issue you have to note are the taxpayer. That is where you find even an ordinary person, that even if you don't come to disclose it, if I come to do an audit, I can discover that tax. You also don't qualify. You find in the case of adding 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, mathematically. But if you put 1, that one any person can see it in the course of an audit. So those arithmetical errors, they also don't qualify for the disclosure. That's in the bill what I can talk about voluntary disclosure.
Okay, so speaking
However, maybe if I'm to add on, I talked about people already registered.
Yes.
But there's also that category of people who are out there, who are in business, they're earning profits.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
The law requires every eligible citizen who is conducting a business to register for tax.
Okay.
Now, if you know you are there, the order hasn't reached you, you don't have a team, or you have a team but registered as an employee strictly,
Yes.
but you have got property earning rental income, you have got maybe a big warehouse, a big store.
Okay.
We request you also voluntarily to come and register. Say, look, I've been operating for the last maybe 3 to 5 years.
Yes.
These are my total sales. These are my purchases. This is what I've been doing. This I've been making profits. We also request you to come and register correctly for the tax types you are supposed to register for
Yes.
and pay the relevant tax.
Tax.
Maybe you're asking me, why should I do it? What are the benefits?
Yeah, I was actually coming to that. We are telling people to register for the different types of taxes if they're eligible for. We're also encouraging them to come and voluntarily disclose their businesses. Now, a taxpayer will be watching and saying, and I've seen this question so many times, what is the importance of a TIN? Number 2, if I register and get this TIN, what are the benefits of being tax compliant given the environment we are in, the economy we are in? What benefits can you pinpoint and say, if you're tax compliant, this is what you get in return? Yeah.
Now, I begin the first one, importance of a TIN.
Yes.
As we said, a TIN is a tax identification number.
Yes.
We don't expect someone to come and apply for a TIN if he's not earning income somewhere. or if he or she is not going to put on something in his or her names. So begin with the putting something in your names. You may be an importer.
Yes.
You have been there doing your informal trade business, maybe sell produce when it is not easy to trace produce. Or you have got your farm. You sell your goats, you sell your cows. That time comes to buy, you want to buy a car or a motorcycle. You expect you to apply for a TIN. Because for that vehicle or motorcycle to come into your names, you must be having a TIN for you to be able to have it in your names. Transfer of land. If you want to have land and own land in your names, you also need to have a TIN. Also, may be there in the course of doing your business.
Yes.
The government gives you a TIN.
Okay.
Or municipality or district, wherever you are. As part of the requirements, nobody didn't talk about, we're in a partnership with the different government bodies, municipalities, for now here KCCA, where these people have been mandated within the law that before they give you a trading license, he or she is supposed to apply for a TIN. So the earlier you do it, the better. It will ease your dealings with the different business partners you have. And apparently, maybe to add on, all of us want to grow. We want to succeed, we want to prosper. So these successful business entrepreneurs want to deal with people who are compliant with tax laws. And the same goes also to the NGOs.
That is true.
If you're not complying with the tax laws, no one wants to deal with you. That's where we are heading. So that is the importance of a TIN.
Just a quick one there. You said, you mentioned that a TIN can be used to get land. Now, if I'm we're all taxpayers, or someone viewing just comes to you with the intention of just getting that TIN to buy land or sell his land, and that is it. They don't have a business, they're not employed, nothing. They just want to use the TIN to sell or buy land. Now, a scenario comes in whereby after getting this TIN, they've transacted the land and they get emails in their inbox of tax they're supposed to pay, but they're not doing any business. All their TIN was used for is the land transaction. How do you treat that category of taxpayers who just use the TIN maybe to buy a car, sell, buy land, sell, and that is it?
Now, the issue of TIN is a bit wide, and there are different reasons why people apply for a TIN.
Yes.
Because I may be here, I'm a civil servant. I retired maybe before this TIN issue came into existence. Yeah. But my son or my daughter wants to buy me a car. So it is at this point that during registration, the interviewing authority must be given the proper and accurate information. What is the purpose? It comes back from the correct and accurate information I said from registration.
Yes.
If you go give wrong information from the beginning, it is going to create unnecessary work at the end of the day.
Okay.
So there are very many exceptions. For example, also maybe a returning resident.
Yes.
I've been maybe out of the country for very many years.
Okay.
I'm returning back to Uganda because I've retired from their side. And we say that for you to clear goods, you must be having a TIN. You get it?
Yes.
So now, you have to speak right and give the correct information to the tax man. Okay. That's what is the key. Because the information you're going to give at registration will determine other subsequent things or transactions or dealings that are going to happen between you and URA. Okay. So we encourage our viewers. We know because the business is volatile, we keep changing. Today maybe in hardware, tomorrow I shift, I say, people say in soft drinks, kombucha, there's some good money, I shift. After 1 year, I shift. I go, no, there's good money in hardware. I shift. Now, every time you change anything regarding your profile, kindly update your accordingly. There's always room for improvement. There is room for correcting the past mistakes. So most people who are getting assessments is from what I said earlier, that most of us, when we registered initially, we entrusted our accounts with the tax agents. And the information you find on your profile doesn't match with what exactly you do on the ground.
Okay. So we would like you to answer the last question, which I had asked, what are the benefits of being tax compliant? Because this is filing season, today is the last day, and we need people to file and pay the tax returns. So what are the benefits of
The
being tax
benefits,
compliant?
one, as we said, we said the filing and the payment. Because there are
Yes.
people who find already they have filed, but already they have paid.
Yes.
There are those people who pay before they file.
Okay.
Also those people who file and they pay at the same time.
Okay.
Now, if you file and they pay on time, one, you avoid the cost of penalty for late filing
Okay.
for some taxes. Like, for example, like VAT, the tax a penalty of 200,000 per month. But it only happens once. It's one off transaction.
Yes.
But also there is this key one which most of us as the taxpayers, because it came because of the issues of ledgers, which I just want to talk about briefly.
Okay.
2% interest for late payment. The moment you don't pay by the due date,
Yes.
that principal tax or tax liability which you declared in your returns and due and payable starts attracting interest at rate of 2% on outstanding amount.
Okay.
It's a big cost if you're in business,
Yeah.
especially during these economic times. Two, when you pay on time, remember URA, when you don't pay on time, they start sending you mails and
Yes.
phone calls.
Yes.
But if you're a businessman, remember, we normally say time is money. You may be attending a very big important meeting,
Yes.
decision, you get a phone call from URA. And remember, we talk differently. Some of us will say we are going to come and close you.
Yes.
Others say we are going to come and inconvenience you, but then to explain deeper how we're going to inconvenience you. Now, if that person who may be, for any message to get which is negative, it changes your emotions. It means that whatever you're going to do that day, they want to be distorted. So in a brief one, instead of paying that interest, which is a necessary cost, we don't have to be inconvenienced in the form of phone calls, mails, reminding you because we know you know your obligation.
Yes.
Three, also, the other benefit is that when you are paying for tax clearance, it's easy.
Yes.
You normally have that tracking system where, in case you are compliant, we give you a grace period of about 1 to 3 months. When you apply, you get automatically once you went through the first check and you're compliant, you keep getting your tax clearance on time. What does it mean? That if you're applying for a tender, you won't be delayed. And it may be, there are very many benefits, by the way.
Okay.
Like for the side of customs, there's what we call authorized economic operators.
Yes.
Every taxpayer who is an importer would want that benefit to be under the authorized economic operator platform. This is where you import your things. Then the URA will come and verify them at the owner's premise. Rather than saying take them to the warehouse, put them here. So that the inconvenience of moving up and down.
Okay.
So also we have got the exemptions. If an importer more especially, or if you are a big supplier to government, you normally give what they call 6%
Okay.
exemption. And in extreme cases, VAT exemption. So those are the brief about the benefits of being compliant. There are many, but that's the brief.
Okay, so just as we come to the end of our show, lots of taxpayers just want to hear from you as a tax expert. What is it like to be able to run a successful business and also have the support of URA?
Successful business and the
Yes.
support of URA.
Yes.
Maybe there is a key thing I didn't talk about from the beginning. Record keeping.
Okay.
Because we believe we are in the business to make a profit.
Yes.
And we know that every taxpayer who is in a business has a capacity to keep records. Because at the end of the day, you want a gain. No one is there to make a loss.
Yes.
So one, we expect you to have proper record keeping. From the start, from inception. And if I'm talking to somebody who is there in Chikubo,
Yes.
or university grad who is going to put up a kiosk,
Yes.
if you go and engage the services of a lawyer, remember you're going to say, maybe I want you to draft for me memorandum and articles of association.
Yes.
There's a charge.
Okay.
Ask for a receipt.
Okay.
Keep it in your records. If, and I'm assuming here you're going to use a registered lawyer For lawyers, you can also say I'm a lawyer, but at the end of the day, will I be able to draft the MOS? No. 2, these are simple, brief, yes, records.
Yes.
You are purchasing. We talked about IFRIS.
Yes.
IFRIS came to help me and you. Because most of us, because of the poor record keeping culture, IFRIS, remember, it's going to be instant in the system, through the system.
Okay.
So mean that now your records will be easy to track. You can easily take track of your stock.
Okay.
You can easily be able to know how much purchases you have made
Okay.
by a simple click within the IFRIS system. So after you kept your records about sales and purchases, expenses, people don't turn there in Chikubo. I'm trying to basically, because most of them say, me, I'm in Chikubo, I'm a transporter, I have got very many casual laborers. How do I do it?
Okay.
For those people using offloaders, yes, they come and they go. Maintain a wage book. If you are paying the person 1,000 for lifting, maybe, how do you call these ones who clothes? A carton, maybe
The offloaders, the carriers, they
if
help.
he can't sign, let him put a thumbprint.
Okay.
Because me as a taxman, if I come to verify your expenses, I will not assume. At least tell me that for the last 1 month or 12 months, this is the amount of money I incurred on offloaders.
Okay.
Remember, I'm not an angel. And also at the same time, I can't guess. But it's from your records, what you have been keeping, that you'll be able to check. That's 1. 2, there's where you find that you are the taxpayer. URA is engaging you. And when I say it is engaging you, it may be in the form of a phone call, it may be in the form of a letter.
Yes.
It may be in the form of a visit. We request you, our dear viewers, that cooperate.
Okay.
It does no harm to listen. Sometimes it is a guy, it's an advice that, look, we have seen ABCD, cannot be doing right. You may even have come to visit you, give you more tips on how you can manage your tax affairs. But now what happens at the end of the day, we ignore.
Okay.
You are rights to you, you ignore. They give a phone call, you say you are busy. Now, at the end of the day, someone who was willing to help you and guide you, you find that now the costs are going to become high. Now, if he was going to remind you to pay your tax, and you don't, he gives a reminder you don't, at the end of the day, a point will come when part of the people you deal with are given the authority to remove the money and give it to URA.
So in other words, we are saying that a taxpayer has to ensure that they communicate with URA at all the stages of their businesses to avoid all these conveniences and the penalties you talked about. And yes, as our show comes to an end, I've picked a number of tips you've actually given our viewers on how to be tax compliant. You told us they should ensure proper record keeping.
Yes.
They should be able to embrace IFRIS to make sure that they are able to keep
to track,
to track their business sales. And you also gave a nice tip that I like to the people in Chikubu who use casual laborers about the wage books. I think that's a good tip.
It's a way to go.
I think it's a very good tip that can help them, because most times they may have an excuse of how do I record keep my records.
They come and go.
Yeah, but I think this is a good tip.
They come and go, and frankly speaking, I keep joking with most of these taxpayers. There is no one who is in the business who does any kind of expense.
Yes.
That's one. And also the other factor is that me on the side of URA, if you put that expense in the books of accounts, I can't assume that it happened. I know by logic it happened, but how do I verify that the figure I put there is the correct figure?
Okay.
So it just from those few records that you have kept, they are going to simplify my engagement between me and you.
Thank you so much, Patrick Baguma. It was nice to have you on the show. We hope that our taxpayers can engage more online, and also the fact that you work in the field, I'm sure you talk to them. Sure,
we do. But I think we have to continuously engage these people. As I said, taxation is wide.
Yes.
And because, you know, when in the business there are very many challenges, sometimes we forget, not like we intend, we forget. And that's why I'm saying that where you find something is not clear
yes.
about URA, it is within one of your rights to get to know how do I comply. And the beauty is that because of digital economy, most of us have got WhatsApp.
Okay.
Someone say I cannot read the email, but he has got WhatsApp. Just go on our portal, ura.io.ug. All the information, whatever we do, it's there on our platform.
Yeah, maybe a last one. Kindly give us the WhatsApp URL number if you have it, and then we shall say goodbye to our viewers. You have your last words in a minute. And
okay, for those people who may not be able to visit our offices,
yes,
we have got a WhatsApp number. That is 0772 140000. The beauty is, you don't have to assume that everyone speaks English. You put your question or your inquiry in any language,
okay,
the team is there. You'll get all the information you want. For those who may not be able to send WhatsApp, or don't have to assume people on WhatsApp, they have got a toll-free number. That is 0800 117000. And again, there is also a team of different specialists.
yes,
Where they are ready to guide you. The number may be busy, but don't give up. They will attend to you as and when it is necessary, because we believe every call you make to us, there is a reason why you make it, and it's from that call that we're able to serve each other.
thank
for
you,
better
Patrick.
Uganda.
Give us your last words and say goodbye to our viewers.
Our viewers, you cannot say the time was limited. As I said, the tax is wide, but you are always available. The only key thing that I talked about, which we should note somewhere, this I'm just emphasizing, registration. The information we have with you should be proper and accurate. And this is for the better dealings between me and you, to serve both. 2, once you register for the tax types you are required to register for, we expect you to start filing. Okay. And this is on-time filing. Okay. If you are not sure or you forget, we are available. Please contact us. Yes. After filing properly, please, on-time payment. We expect you to pay on time to avoid unnecessary costs of penalty and interest, yes, for non-compliance. And lastly, we expect that the information you are giving us is correct and accurate. Because remember, at the end of the day, your officer has a mandate to come at your premises to say, please, for the last 3 years, this is the information you gave to us. Can I have a look at it? And now in this case, the law says for now, these records should be kept for at least a minimum of 5 years. So if I've been in business, at least you keep your records for 5 years. Okay. You expect to come anytime you can come and knock on your door and say, please, let's verify what you have. Once again, we say thank you for paying your taxes. Without you, we can't walk the journey of ensuring liberating Uganda from economic dependence. Yeah. And with you, everything will be possible. Just a matter of that, if everyone buys his or her share, we believe at the end of the day, Uganda will be economically independent. Okay.
Thank you, Patrick. That was Patrick Baguma, our tax expert for today. And since this is the last day of filing our returns, be sure to file your returns and pay the tax as well. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda